I see you, Lisa. I think I'm trying to add you. Oh, there she is. There she is. Yes. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, it's great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. We'll just wait a few minutes and see who will join us. I got on a little bit early because it seems like it takes a while for folks to kind of get on. How's your day? How you feeling? You feeling better?
Wow. I don't know. I think I might be having some after effects, so I'm trying to
Okay.
take it easy and yeah, it's we'll see. See what it is.
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
things affect us differently, but I'm glad that you're with us today because
me
I
too. I'm so excited to be here. And you
Mhm.
know, it's so funny how these things happen, but I think we inspire each other. And here you'd ask me to talk about how we get inspired and stay focused. And this morning, I woke up like really early in the morning, and I just like started to get this idea for a short book.
Oh wow.
So
Oh
I
wow.
know
That
it
is
was so
great.
fun.
That is
So I think
wonderful.
yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. Are we on speaker? Am I,
I'm
do
on
I have you?
speaker, I guess.
So I'm
Um,
having trouble hearing you really well, but maybe I'm not sure how to make my sound any louder. Like I think it's as loud as it can be.
okay. I can hear you okay.
You can hear me well? Yeah. I
Yes.
can hear you,
Yes.
but it's quiet.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably different. What kind of phone? Are you doing it on your phone or on your
Yeah, I have an Android. I know they're not as user friendly.
I have an Android too. That's why I
Oh,
was
you do?
like, yeah, I have a Galaxy. I don't know what
Oh, me
version I
too.
can't remember. I
I have
got
an
it.
old one.
Okay, okay, yeah, that might have something to do with it, but you're fine. I can hear you. I can hear you. What's the weather like up there?
Well, it's been pretty warm for just posting. It's been pretty warm for uh this time of year. So it's a little chilly today, but actually, up until today, I've been picking a handful of raspberries every morning. We've gotten these fall bearing raspberries that
Oh
lasted
wow,
so much longer than any other year ever.
really? That's interesting. Do you
Yeah,
grow them, or are they growing wild out there?
we grow them. My husband planted like a few bushes years and years
Okay.
when we first moved here, like 21 years ago, and
Oh wow.
now we have crazy amounts.
That you're reaping the benefits of the
Yeah,
raspberry.
come up in the summer to visit and we can pick you can pick to your heart's content.
Now, you're Massachusetts? Are you
Rhode Island.
Massachusetts? Rhode Island. Okay. Okay. Seemed to be somebody else. It must be somebody else I talk to a lot that's from, I think that's in the Berkshire area because I always think, yeah, because I always think of Capallo and all that,
Oh
but
yeah.
I didn't realize that you were Rhode Island. Okay. I've never been to Rhode Island, come to think of it. That's one state I've never
Oh,
been.
you've got to
Hmm.
come. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's really New England is really interesting. I grew up in upstate New York, so it's similar in some ways. And but I
Mhm.
think you all would get better weather than we did during the
Yeah.
winter. There was always kind of a better kind of a more challenging winters that we
Yeah.
had. So yeah, I've been to Connecticut. I've been to Massachusetts. Never been to New Hampshire, never been to Maine. I've always wanted to go to Maine. Feels like that might be a pretty kind of place to go hiking and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really
I
nice.
would like to
But
do
you got to
that.
come to Rhode Island first. It's closer.
Yeah, I do. I do. Small state. Is that the smallest state in the union or is it
It's
Hawaii?
it's the smallest state and actually our neighborhood has the smallest library in the smallest state.
Oh, for real? A library? Oh, okay, that's interesting. That is interesting.
Well, unless you
Well,
count those little, those little libraries people have outside their houses now that are like this
those little
big and they
tiny,
hold a few books.
yeah, which I love. I wish my neighborhood had one. Well, I'm in a condo kind of situation, so I don't know if they'll let us do something like that. But I always think that those things are so cool. Well, we'll go
Yeah.
ahead and get started. We got some folks joining us. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Sharon Burton. I am the founder of Spark Your Creative Coaching. I work with creatives, specifically at midlife, who are either blocked or looking to become unblocked or to reclaim their creative gifts or interests or passions. And today I just wanted to do something really cool for NaNoWriMo month. Um, and so I'm doing this live with my very good friend, Lisa Tenner. Hi, Lisa. And
Hi,
I'm
Sharon. It's
based
great to be
in
here.
yeah, and I'm
Sorry.
based in Maryland. So and Lisa is in Rhode Island. And today in Maryland it is cloudy, cool, and rainy. So
Oh,
it is. It's kind of a dreary day. But anyway, we're nice and warm here. And one of the things that I think that's very important is to provide support to writers. And I thought rather than to try to do workshops and things of that nature, because it's all about you doing your writing, right? So I thought we would do not a Facebook Live, but Instagram Live. And I invited Lisa to join me. Just a little bit about her. She's an award-winning book writing coach and author. And we recently featured her on the Spark Your Creative podcast. And she's the author of, yeah, put that book up again. Yes,
the Joy of
the
Writing
Joy of
Journal.
Writing Journal, which she just dropped in late September. And our podcast, as a matter of fact, the Spark Your Creative podcast, we talked about the journal and how journaling is one way that we can kind of move past some of our blocks or some of the things that might be affecting us in our creativity, particularly as we navigate these uncertain times. I have a new podcast series that's based on that. But anyway, she's an award-winning book writing coach and author, and she's has I have worked with her on a writing project that I've been working on and plan to to finish one day, hopefully in the next year, in the next few months. So we'll see how that goes. But she
Well, you got to try and get your writing done. You come as my guest.
Okay, I will do that. I will do that. I will do that. But anyway, the reason I invited Lisa to be a part of this is because I've been attending Get Your Writing Done, and these are sort of these virtual co-writing sessions that Lisa hosts every other week. And she just started a new series of these for the next, 2 months? I think it is, 2 or 3 months.
4 months.
4 months.
Twice a
Oh,
month for
my
four
bad.
months.
And
You're going to
it's
get a
just
lot done.
a bunch of writers that get together and write with each other. And we do it in what is it, 30-minute sprints or something like that?
The writing is about 30 to 40, sometimes 45, depending, but usually 30 to 40-minute sprints with some movement and breathing beforehand, setting an intention, and then at the end, a little gratitude and sometimes a little sharing or insights or whatever has come up. And then we repeat it. So we do that 1 hour, and then we have a second hour for those who want to stay and do more writing.
So the really cool thing that Lisa does is these different kinds of exercises. And I love them because they kind of keep you in between our writing sprints. They kind of keep you motivated and uplifted, and it kind of kind of takes out the cobwebs when you're writing. And I thought it would be great to have Lisa share a few of those with us today. Just as you're doing your nano ritmo sprints, some things that you might find very helpful as you're doing your writing during these marathon writing sessions. So let me just ask you this, just to start off, because there's always someone that's in this situation, and that is, what are some tips that writers can try if they're facing writer's block? Let's say you're part of this whole movement this month, you're trying to get your
Mm-hmm.
however 1,000 words in, and you get to your desk and you're trying to type that next chapter, that next storyline,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just not there, and you're just feeling like I've already failed this because I cannot get past whatever block. So what are some tips that you have that you think would be helpful for people to try if they find themselves in that situation?
So one thing to try is you might try writing by hand instead, and
Mm,
even keeping a journal by your bed. So like first thing you wake up, you might record a few dreams if you remember them, and then go right into the writing. And that works so nicely because you're still in that liminal state. And so it's
hmm
easy to tap into your creativity. And a lot of times that saboteur hasn't kicked in yet. So I do recommend trying that, see if it works. You could also try it with, with a device if you wanted to type at a computer or laptop or something. But I do love to do it by hand. I find it's really powerful for me creatively. Um, so that's one way, is kind of trick it by doing it first thing. And another is movement, and I know we're going to do some of that. Just a lot of times the stuckness is just we're not moving our bodies. We're sitting in chairs all day. So go out for a walk in nature, or we're going to do some things that also will really help with getting the energy moving. And another is when be clear on your intention, because the more you know about what you're going to do, the easier it is. And so if you have like a clear outline, a detailed outline, that can be very helpful. So that's something to consider. That works for some people, not for others. You can always change the outline. You don't have to stick with it 100%, but it can help you through those times that you feel stuck.
okay. Now this is my problem. Um,
Okay.
I'm working on a book. I'm working on a book, y'all, for you. And I've been using my blogs to actually kind of be the meat of each chapter. And of course, you have to
Mhm.
flesh it out. I've also have
Mhm.
quotes from different creatives and people, and I have an outline. I have everything saved, and when I open my files and everything is in nice, neat orders, I become overwhelmed. And it's like, how can I pull all those? I mean, I know it's cut and paste, but it's like, do I start with my intro? Or do I focus on putting the chapters together based on all this information? It's sort of like, what happens if you're stuck and you just don't know? You may have all the pieces, but it's
Mhm.
something about the whole thing is just overwhelming and you're not sure where to start. What are your thoughts on that? What are some ways that you can kind of get past that kind of
Yeah.
feeling?
Well, I think if you're opening it up and like you're seeing the whole thing, that can feel really overwhelming, especially I think those of us who are kind of kinesthetic and just kind of tap into things. It's like you're tapping into the whole book. Woo! It's like a tidal wave. So, I would say maybe think about like what's my goal for today, what's the part, and just look at maybe the table of contents and say, I'm just going to look at this and see which one do I feel excited about writing today. And if it's
Mhm.
none, you might just say, well, maybe I need to write a new chapter, a new article, and that's okay too, um, but I would try to do that so you're really focusing in pretty quickly and not looking at everything. Just look at the table of contents, what just feels right. And you know what, if you can't do that, just close your eyes and go up and down with your hand and then stop somewhere and see where it goes. Sometimes like get your head out of the way is the
Yeah.
best thing to
And
do.
yeah, because I feel like my head is in the way and I'm like, okay, you've done a lot. You just
Yeah.
gotta get going. And I'm just like, but I think there's a part of me that wants to do it linear, like I want to do it in order, and it doesn't, and I
Yeah.
have to understand that it doesn't have to be that way, that it,
No.
it can be, whatever works, and whatever I'm feeling. Um, and I like that because then it doesn't feel like, oh man, you have all this material, you have all this stuff, how are you going to do this? How is it going to, and I mean, this literally happened to me not too long ago. I spent an hour just looking at the stuff, and I'm like, how can I do it? I felt so bad. And I said to myself, and I gave myself grace and patience
Yeah.
because, I mean,
And you know
these
what?
things happen.
Yeah, I've done that too. Sometimes you don't have a productive day. You know what? I'm going to show you something though that I've done. Can I go grab my
Sure.
board?
Yeah. Hmm.
So this might be helpful since you have an outline to
Hmm.
take one of these. I can't see if it's coming up right, but
I
take one
see
of
it.
these,
Yes.
nice display boards, right?
Hmm.
And I'm gonna try to get a little support here. Um, that's not going to show up, is it? Okay. Well, you take a display board, and each of these orange squares or orange, is it rectangle? Kind of a
Hmm.
rectangle, is a chapter. And then, I've got the exercise, I've got the crux of what the chapter is. I've got all these different elements in each chapter. Whoops. Things start to fall off after a while. Um, but anyway, so you kind of for each chapter you've got like what's the story you're going to tell, what's the main point of the chapter, what are some exercises you're going to share, other features of the chapter,
Hmm.
and then that gives you a way to kind of visually see it all, and then you can also, if you use those stickies or post-its, you can move them around. So that's sort of a nice way, I think, to look at the book, and then you can take them off. I use those stickies that just have post-its that just have one side that's sticky, like the top or the side. But I would suggest getting the ones where the whole post-it has stickiness on it. They're like extra sticky post-its or something,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then they won't fall off, which is my problem now. But
Yeah.
that's a great way, I think, to really connect with your book. And, it's colorful, it's playful, so it's going to engage your muse too, which is important.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Okay, cool. Okay, now you do a lot of breathing exercises and sort of mindfulness to kind of bring people to be more focused about their writing. Because sometimes you're writing and then you take a break and then you're kind of fighting the urge not to go back. Or, you just need to take a break, but you may not necessarily need to feel like you got to leave the room necessarily, but just what are some of the exercises that you could share with people that, when you get a little tired or maybe right before you can feel that second wind come in, but you need a little help to get the second wind going. So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
how would you what are some things that you would suggest to do for that?
Okay. So the first one's really simple. It's called Qigong Bouncing, and I won't be, I think, the way that the phone is, I'm not going to be able to show you completely my whole body, but I'm just going up and down on my toes, up and down, and then just shaking. And it's just called Qigong shaking or bouncing. And
Okay.
you go up and, really move your hands. But it's a really nice way. It kind of grounds, you get this balance, and you really start to feel the energy of the earth coming up back into you. And it
Mm-hmm.
also relaxes every muscle in your body that's, shaking gets relaxed. And so it's a great way to release tension. And, if you've been writing for half an hour, there's going to be tension in your body. Or if you've been sitting at your computer and now you want to write, it's hard to go from just that sitting stagnant state to writing. So moving
Right.
your energy, moving your body is going to really help you with getting into that state where your creativity flows. It really is a state of flow. And a lot of the exercises I do work with movement. So I have another one that's also Qigong.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I practice this not on Instagram. I practiced it just with the camera and it worked, but now it's a little cut off.
Okay.
So I'm not sure that one's going to work now. Let
What
me
about
see if I can.
breathing? Is there any breathing
Breathing, yeah.
exercise?
So I was going to do the breath of joy. So that one's
Okay.
a little tricky too. But,
Okay.
we kind of bend down and then we're going to come up. So breathing in. So you're going to bend over and then you breathe in and then we open and then up.
Wow. Okay.
So that's a nice one because again, you're getting both the breath and the movement.
Okay.
And yeah, I really love that one.
How long should you do any of these? Like, should they be
You don't have to do it long, and I think it's more like what works for you. So in
okay?
class, we do them for maybe sometimes a minute, sometimes three, right? It really varies. And sometimes if we're doing like a guided visualization or something, it's a little longer. But it really is what works for you. Try a minute, and if it needs to be longer, you can make it longer, and you could even make it shorter. So, some of these exercises, they'll have more power if you do them longer, but you don't want to overdo it either, especially something like the breath of joy. I wouldn't do that many. For starters, I would only do maybe two or three. Make sure you don't feel dizzy. Make sure
Yeah.
it works for you. Um, but yeah, you don't want to overdo anything. The Qigong bouncing is something you could do for a long time. In China,
Yeah.
they might do it for 20 minutes or an hour or something at the beginning of a Qigong practice. We're not going to do it for that long.
Yeah. No.
But that one, I don't think you can really overdo.
Okay.
But always listen to your body too.
Most definitely. Is there anything that we can do as we're just sitting there? Like maybe like a mini break, as
Yeah,
maybe you just finished a couple paragraphs. You got the energy to kind of go further, but
yeah.
like something you can do while you're just sitting there.
Yeah. So I would say while you're sitting, I would definitely do some side stretching because, you're sitting in a chair, just go like that, gently, don't overstretch.
Mm-hmm.
And the other
Oh,
side.
I'm just
And
doing
that's
it.
nice to stretch the whole side because we forget to do that. It
Mm-hmm.
really makes a difference. And the other thing, this is a funky one, but have you ever done the lion in yoga?
It's been a while. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember it.
So basically, you're going to squeeze everything. You're going to squeeze your whole face in your hands, your fists. You're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as you breathe in. And then you're going to ha, like a lion. You're going to roar, I guess. But sticking your tongue out, making your eyes big, and, everything open. So
Ah.
it's going to go like this. And we'll do it again. Why don't we do three of them so everybody gets a chance to try it? So I encourage everybody who's watching to join us and try the lion. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Tension. You can put your shoulders up and tense them too.
I love that.
And that's really easy to do sitting down, right? And it only takes a second. So, but if you're going to do that, let me see if I've got my special timer. Um, I don't see it. Oh, well, I'll describe it. So the Staples sells these square timers, and you don't have to set it. So if you just turn it on, when you move it so that the number is on top, like 20 minutes, you just turn it so it says 20. 5 minutes, you just turn it so it's got the 5 on top. It's almost like dice that you would roll, except they have the number written. And
Okay.
so you can easily set a timer so that you remember to take these breaks. And I know, especially if you're writing and you're in the zone, you kind of get lost in that. And there's something good about that. But then, if you're not taking breaks, eventually your body pays the price. So I would suggest taking regular breaks if you can.
Yeah, and I think, and that's it's a tricky thing because sometimes, like when I've been in your get what is it? Get your
Get your,
writing done.
get your
Is that
writing done.
there are times when we break and I'm like, I'm on a roll. I can't stop. You know, and but I also know that it's probably healthy to do that.
Yeah, although in class I say, if you're on a roll,
Yeah,
just
that's
keep
true.
writing.
You
You
did,
can mute me
yeah.
too and just keep writing. Like the point is to be writing, and as long as you're not hurting your body, and staying too stiff, like just keep writing. That's fine. You could just mute me if you don't want to do the next exercise and just keep writing. That's totally fine. So
Cool.
yeah, yeah, set the timer, but if it really feels like I'm on a roll, I can't do it, just turn it back off and reset it, you know.
Now, what kind of clock were you talking about? Because I think I've heard about that clock that you do.
Yeah,
What is it
it's a
called?
timer. You get it at
A timer?
Staples, and it just
Okay.
has the numbers on each side. So it has like 5, 10, 15, 20, and and maybe 30. And so you turn it so that the number you want is at the top.
Okay.
So then
Okay.
it's like, okay, 20 minutes it'll ring, or oh, I'll do it this way, 5 minutes it'll ring. So
Uh-huh.
it's great little, yeah. I didn't think to bring it on the call, but so it's
No,
somewhere in my house.
the reason I asked about it because I remember somebody in a workshop or something I attended was talking about that, and they were
Hmm.
talking about that particular clock, and then or that timer, and so when you
Timer.
mentioned it, I was like, oh, there it is again. So I just was, because I was thinking I might have to get something like that to work on my forever writing project.
No, don't call it that. Don't label it that.
I know. It just feels that way.
Yeah.
Um, do you have one more that you can share?
Um, yeah, let me think, because the one I was going to do, I think it's hard to show you. Um, let's see. Good one. Well, this is a simple one, but
Okay.
the ears, so there's something called ear acupuncture, and there's like every point on your ear corresponds to some other part of your body and other like the meridians in Chinese medicine. So when you flick your ears, you're actually, activating more than just your ears, but other parts of your body. So you flick like this, and then
So
so
you
you can
do it
flick
on your
your
ear?
ears.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. One,
Oh, wow,
two,
that does
three,
wake
four. You
you
just kind of flick them.
up.
Yeah, it's kind of a funky one. And then you can flick forward, like you just push the ear forward, and then you
Okay.
can cup your ears, but make sure you keep breathing as you're doing these. And then you can like massage along the ear.
Okay.
So those are some ways to, while you're sitting and you don't want to necessarily get up if you're in flow, but you can just kind of do that and it's like moving your body. And, shoulders are always good to roll because those get really tight, especially if we're writing or leaning
Right.
over.
Yeah,
So
and
that's a good one.
I know usually my upper back might stiffen a little bit.
Hmm.
So, I always do the head rolls and everything. But
Yeah.
and then I do kind of like a sitting cat cow, if you
Oh, that's a good one.
know,
Yeah.
moving your chest out and in and out and in,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So, and actually yoga
Yeah.
itself, if you have a 5 or 7 minute video that you can put on and just do some yoga moves, that's a chair yoga might be something to think about too.
Hmm.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing some of those. I think that's so cool. Now,
Yeah.
you have some events and you're a book writing coach. Tell us a little bit about what you do as a book writing coach and what opportunities for those of us that are working on books or even with NaNoWriMo or whatever. What do you have coming up that people can take advantage of?
Thank you, Sharon. Well, the most immediate thing is get your writing done. It starts this week on Thursday. It's from 3 to 5 Eastern time. And like I said, you can come for the full 2 hours, or if you want to just do an hour, that's fine too. About 35 to 45 of those minutes we'll spend actually writing, and the rest is kind of movement, warming up, setting an intention. It's really fun the way we create that space
Hmm.
for the muse to show up and creativity to flow. And then we end with a little gratitude and often a little bit of sharing. We won't have everyone share, usually just, a couple shares, or at least in terms of like sharing what you wrote. If somebody wants to do that, it's one or two. But, sometimes everybody will share something about their experience, or, what came up for them, or what insights or ahas they had, or shifts. And then we repeat that again. So that's and it's a great, you don't have to be working on a book. You could be working on a poem or a blog post or article or the script of a podcast. So it's very flexible with whatever you want to work on. And if you come to it one day with nothing to work on, I do have prompts. So that's
That's
the other
right.
piece.
Yes, she does have some
And
wonderful prompts. Um, and
thank you.
and sometimes, just for people who might be kind of curious about that, sometimes you just want to get into the flow of writing. You may not be prepared to write what it is that you want to write, but you may need just some help to get your brain together to write on something. So prompts, like what Lisa is talking about, they could be on random topics, are
Mm-hmm.
good because you can, kind of get into the flow, and then that can lead you maybe to other ideas to write.
Yeah, they're
So,
like the gateway. And actually,
yeah.
when I wrote The Joy of Writing Journal, that was a lot of my inspiration for it, was like, let's just get into that creative zone with some playful prompts. And we really start with usually just making a list, 5 or 10 things, and then choosing something from that list in a way that relates to the prompt. So if you're having trouble figuring out even what to write, this is a good way to get started. Or just, needing to kind of get into that zone with sort of a gateway project, this can
Hmm.
be really helpful.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't take more than 8 minutes, although you can definitely do it for longer, but you can do it quickly too, to get into that zone and then switch to your bigger creative project, whatever it is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, how can people find you, Lisa, if they want to learn more about
Oh,
you? And we have your Instagram feed, of course, as part of this. Oh, you're
yeah,
welcome,
I'm gonna
Dr. Beck.
put I hope I'm typing this right. Um, lisatenor.com is my website. So that's a good
Oh,
place
there it is. Yeah.
to find kind of all the offerings. And Thanksgiving, we always have our biggest sale. So if people are thinking of, investing in a bigger program, or even something small, we'll have lots of sales going on then. Everything goes on sale. So that's also a good time to check it out, is that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday after Thanksgiving. But if you're interested in get your writing done, definitely that's starting Thursday. So, email me and we can figure it out. And
And that's
and then
every other
and
Thursday,
yes,
right?
sorry.
It's every other Thursday, not every week.
It's the
Okay.
first and third Thursday of every month. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me, all
thank you
but
for having
brief.
me.
But I
And
just
hi,
thought,
Gail. It's nice to see you. Gail
yeah.
joined us.
Yeah, I saw that, and a few other people have been in and out. So, and I'm going to post this on my feed. Hopefully, if I do it correctly. This is the second time I've actually, no, third time I've done it, I think. I used to do Facebook Lives, but Facebook has gotten so weird, trying to do lives now. So this seems to be simpler. And I haven't done that many on Instagram, so I wanted to try to do this for my Instagram family. But
Yeah, yeah, that's exciting. And thank
yeah,
you for helping me. I just learned a new way to get into an Instagram live, because last time the person did it differently. So this is great. I'm feeling like, oh, I'm really getting to know things now.
And I'm learning as I go along. So, there may be other ways to do it. But anyway, thank you so much. And thank you all who are listening or watching the replay. If you have any questions, or even if you have suggestions of things that have worked for you, share it with us in the comments so we can share. Sharing is caring, as they say. And we are in Gratitude Month as well. Thanksgiving is right around the
Yes.
corner for those who celebrate. So, it's good to be not only grateful for your creative gifts, but also to share with others. So, anyway, thank you so much, Lisa, for this. This has been wonderful, and I hope people will take advantage of her opportunities and to check out her website and all that kind of stuff. All right.
Thank you, Sharon, and good luck with that book. I want to help you make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. I'm in the process of making it happen. So we'll see. All right.
Take
Take
care.
care. Let's see if we can turn this off.